Have you ever noticed how some people seem to navigate life with clarity, confidence, and results, while others struggle despite working just as hard? The difference isn't always talent or intelligence, it's effectiveness. And one of the most powerful guides to becoming truly effective is Stephen Covey's timeless book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Published more than 3 decades ago, it remains one of the most influential self-development books in the world, because it doesn't just tell you what to do, it teaches you how to think, act, and build a foundation for success in every area of life. Covey's core idea is simple but profound. Success is not just about quick fixes or personality tricks. Real effectiveness comes from building character, aligning your life with timeless principles, and developing habits that compound over time. In this video, we're going to break down each of the 7 habits, explain them in simple terms, and show how you can apply them immediately. Let's begin with habit 1, be proactive. At its heart, being proactive means taking responsibility for your life. It's about recognizing that while you can't control everything that happens to you, you can always control how you respond. Most people fall into the trap of being reactive. They blame circumstances, other people, or bad luck for their problems. Covey calls this the circle of concern. These are the things you worry about but have no direct control over: the economy, the weather, or even other people's behavior. Effective people, on the other hand, focus on their circle of influence, the things they can actually do something about. Your choices, your habits, your words, your actions. For example, instead of saying, "I can't exercise because I don't have time," a proactive person says, "I will prioritize 20 minutes for a workout today," even if it means adjusting something else. Proactivity is also about language. Words like, "I can't," or "that is just how I am," keep you stuck. But phrases like, "I choose" or "I will" put the power back in your hands. Imagine you're stuck in traffic. A reactive person fumes and blames the situation, wasting energy. A proactive person uses that time productively listening to an audiobook, making a hands-free call, or simply practicing patience. The key takeaway: being proactive means you stop waiting for life to happen to you. You take the initiative. You don't let your circumstances define you. Instead, you define your response and actions. Habit 2, begin with the end in mind. This habit is about clarity of vision. Imagine you're climbing a ladder with great effort, only to realize it's leaning against the wrong wall. That's what happens when we live reactively busy, hardworking, but without direction. Covey reminds us, effectiveness comes when you live life intentionally, guided by your deepest values. To begin with the end in mind means to picture your ideal outcome before you start. It's about asking, what kind of life do I want to create? How do I want to be remembered? Covey even suggests a powerful exercise: imagine attending your own funeral. What would you want people, your family, friends, colleagues to say about you? Would they describe someone kind, principled, or someone who just kept busy but left little impact? This habit pushes us to define success for ourselves, not by society's standards. Maybe for you, success is building a strong family, serving your community, or pursuing a career that makes a difference. The point is, if you don't decide what matters, the world will decide for you, and you'll spend years chasing goals that don't actually fulfill you. Practically, this habit is about creating a personal mission statement. Think of it as your life's compass. For example, to live with integrity, to nurture my family, to learn and grow, and to contribute positively to others. With a mission statement like this, daily decisions become easier. Should you take that new job? Should you say yes to a commitment? You weigh it against your mission. Does it align with your end goal? Take the example of Steve Jobs. When creating Apple products, he didn't just think about making computers. He envisioned creating tools that would empower and inspire people. That vision guided every product decision. On a smaller scale, if your mission is to be healthy and energetic, then skipping exercise doesn't fit your bigger picture. It becomes easier to say no. The key takeaway: when you begin with the end in mind, you don't drift, you design your life. You stop living by accident and start living with purpose. If habit 2 is about knowing where you want to go, habit 3 is about prioritizing what gets you there. It's the execution habit, turning vision into action. Covey uses a powerful framework called the time management matrix. Picture a grid with 4 boxes. Quadrant 1, urgent and important. These are crises and deadlines. Quadrant 2, not urgent but important. These are planning, exercise, building relationships, self-improvement, the things that matter most in the long run. Quadrant 3, urgent but not important. Emails, interruptions, busy work. They feel pressing but don't add much value. Quadrant 4, not urgent and not important. Netflix binges, endless scrolling, time wasters. Most people spend their lives stuck in Quadrant 1 and 3, reacting to crises or feeling busy with little results. Highly effective people focus on Quadrant 2. They schedule time for health, learning, relationships, and meaningful projects before the urgent distractions take over. Think of it this way. Imagine filling a jar with rocks, pebbles, and sand. If you start with the sand and pebbles, little distractions, there won't be room for the big rocks. Which are your most important priorities? But if you put the big rocks in first, the smaller stuff naturally fits around them. That's how your calendar should look. For example, if family time or skill development is one of your priorities, you block it on your schedule before you answer emails or scroll social media. Or if writing a book is part of your life vision, you treat it like a non-negotiable appointment, not an optional task. Covey's advice here is also about the courage to say no to things that don't align with your priorities. Many of us get trapped in saying yes to every request, but every yes is also a no to something else, often something more important. The takeaway: manage your life, not just your time. Effectiveness isn't about doing more, it's about doing what matters most. Habit 4. Think win-win. Life isn't a zero-sum game. Too often, we see success as limited. If someone else wins, we must lose. But Covey challenges this mindset with Habit 4. Think win-win. This habit is about building relationships and agreements where everyone benefits. It is not about being nice or avoiding conflict. It is about creating solutions where both sides feel valued and satisfied. Covey explains there are 6 possible approaches to interaction. Win-lose. I get what I want, you don't. This is competition taken to the extreme. Lose-win. I'll give in so you can have your way. This might keep peace temporarily, but often builds resentment. Lose-lose. If I can't win, neither will you. Think of destructive revenge. Win. I only care about my success. Your outcome doesn't matter. Win-win. We both succeed together. Win-win or no deal. If mutual benefit isn't possible, it's better to walk away than force a one-sided outcome. In practice, win-win thinking requires 3 things: integrity, staying true to your values; maturity, balancing courage with consideration; and an abundance mindset, believing there's enough success and opportunity for everyone. For example, in a workplace negotiation, instead of fighting for a bigger slice of the pie, win-win thinking looks for ways to make the pie bigger. Maybe both sides collaborate on a new approach that increases revenue for the company and bonuses for the team. Or in personal life, consider parenting. Instead of parents forcing rules unilaterally or kids rebelling, a win-win approach might involve setting agreements that respect both responsibility and freedom. The key lesson: long-term relationships thrive on mutual benefit. Win-lose may bring short-term gains, but it erodes trust. Win-win builds trust, cooperation, and sustainable success. Habit 5. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. Most people listen with the intent to reply, not to truly understand. We're often waiting for our turn to speak, already rehearsing our answer in our heads. But Covey teaches us that effective communication begins with deep listening. Habit 5 is about empathetic listening, putting yourself in the other person's shoes, hearing not just their words but also their emotions and perspective. Only when people feel understood are they willing to listen in return. Covey compares communication to giving someone oxygen. If a person is gasping for air, you don't try to sell them your ideas first, you give them oxygen. Similarly, people need to feel heard before they're open to your message. Here's an example. Imagine a teenager telling their parent, "School is pointless. I hate it." A typical parent might jump in with advice, "You need good grades to succeed." But that response doesn't address the teen's emotions. Instead, empathetic listening might sound like, "You feel like school doesn't matter and it's frustrating." Once the teen feels understood, they may be open to hearing guidance about the bigger picture. Covey emphasizes that listening isn't the same as agreeing. It's about creating space for trust and understanding. Only after you've understood the other person should you try to explain your own viewpoint. The formula is simple: diagnose before you prescribe. Just like a doctor wouldn't prescribe medicine without first understanding your symptoms, you shouldn't push your ideas before truly grasping the other person's perspective. In professional life, this habit transforms negotiations, leadership, and teamwork. In personal life, it deepens relationships and prevents misunderstandings. The key lesson: when people feel understood, they naturally become more open to understanding you. Habit 6. Synergize. Synergy means that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. It's about creating outcomes that are better than what any one person could achieve alone. Covey calls synergy the highest form of teamwork and cooperation. Think of a choir. Each singer's voice adds to the others, creating harmonies that no single voice could achieve. That's synergy in action. But synergy doesn't come from everyone being the same, it comes from valuing differences. Different perspectives, talents, and strengths make the team stronger. Too often, people see differences as threats or annoyances. Covey flips this. Differences are opportunities. Here's a simple example. Two people are trying to solve a problem. One is highly analytical while the other is creative and intuitive. Alone, each might miss something. Together, if they respect and listen to each other, they can find a solution neither could have reached alone. Covey explains that achieving synergy requires openness, humility, and trust. It's not about compromise where both sides give up something. It's about creating a third alternative that's better than what either side initially proposed. In organizations, this looks like brainstorming sessions where wild ideas are welcomed, not shot down. In families, it is about finding solutions that meet everyone's needs instead of forcing one person's way. The key lesson: celebrate differences, because they hold the key to creating solutions greater than what you could imagine alone. Habit 7. Sharpen the saw. Imagine trying to cut down a tree with a dull saw. You could push harder and work longer, but progress would be painfully slow. Now imagine taking the time to sharpen the saw. You'd finish the job much faster and with less effort. That is the idea behind Habit 7. It is about renewing yourself regularly in 4 areas: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. Physically, it means exercising, eating well, and resting so your body can keep up with life's demands. Mentally, it's about continuous learning, reading, writing, challenging your brain to grow. Emotionally, it's nurturing relationships, showing empathy, and maintaining healthy connections. Spiritually, it's grounding yourself in your values, whether through meditation, prayer, time in nature, or reflection. Covey argues that if you don't invest in renewal, you burn out, lose focus, and become less effective over time. By sharpening the saw, you stay balanced and prepared to handle challenges with energy and clarity. And here's the beauty: sharpening the saw in one area strengthens the others. A healthy body supports a sharper mind. Strong relationships fuel emotional resilience. Grounding in values strengthens decision-making. So, Habit 7 ties the other 6 together, ensuring that effectiveness is sustainable for a lifetime. Now let's step back. What's the big picture here? Covey's 7 habits are not just techniques, they're a philosophy of living. They move you from dependence to independence and finally to interdependence, where you thrive not just alone, but in collaboration with others. The lesson? Success isn't about shortcuts. It's about aligning who you are with what you do, every single day. If you found this breakdown helpful, make sure to subscribe for more book explainers, and check the description for links to recommended reads. Remember, real change starts small with one new habit today.